Towards the end of the deprivation period, the vaccinal solution can be prepared so that it is ready to be distributed. Watering cans are used. Like all equipment which comes into contact with the vaccine, the watering cans must be kept exclusively for use with vaccines and should preferably be made of plastic. Several workers are required, and certainly not less than 2, to distribute the vaccine into the watering points as quickly as possible and uniformly throughout the building. In general, each watering point is visited 2 or 3 times. As the vaccine is being distributed, 1 or 2 other workers should move quietly and slowly along the walls and into the corners to encourage the birds to move towards and drink from the watering points. The pipework should be cleaned 2 or 3 days before vaccinating, usually with a product based on organic acids, which can be consumed safely by the animals. The vaccine is prepared in the same way as for vaccination via watering points, except that this time the mixing container is the farm's treatment or distribution tank. If the farm is equipped with dosing pumps, then only use bottled mineral water when preparing the stock vaccinal solution. The stock solution is drawn up by the dosing pump and mixed with the water distributed to the animals. The lines of nipples are often difficult to empty due to differences in level along the house. To overcome this problem, raise the nipples prior to distribution, empty the line, and then add dried skimmed milk plus vaccinal solution into the tank. Since the colour of the vaccinal solution is now different from normal drinking water, you can watch for it to appear at the end of the line before lowering the nipples. During distribution, 1 or 2 workers should walk around the house, as before for vaccination via watering points, as shown here. At the end of distribution, add approximately 200 to 300 litres of water, not containing chlorine, to the tank to flush out the vaccinal solution remaining in the tank, and especially that below the draining point at the bottom of the tank. In this way, the remaining solution is cleared from the system without running the risk of neutralising it. If the volume remaining in the pipework is very high, this wasted volume should be taken into account when calculating the total volume of product to be prepared. Non-antiseptic food colorants are available, which can be added to the vaccinal solution to check that the vaccinal dose has been taken. Sample the birds and check that their tongue is slightly blue in colour, as shown here. Check the crop as well, since the tongue may have been cleaned by the animal, subsequently drinking fresh water or feed. Vaccines in the Cevac range are coloured during manufacture for exactly this purpose. After distributing the vaccine, either via watering points or nipples, don't forget to reopen the water supply valve. Spraying, sometimes called fogging, is generally the preferred method for vaccinating against respiratory tropism diseases. The quantities of water used vary from between 0.5 litres and 1.5 litres per 1,000 mature animals when vaccinating with large droplets. Water quality is a critical factor. Since only small amounts of water are required, bottled mineral water should be used. After washing your hands, make up the solution from the freeze-dried vaccine powder using a needle and a sterile syringe, making sure that the vial is rinsed out. The droplets produced by the spraying equipment must reach the bird's nasal and ocular mucosa. Two factors may prevent the droplets from reaching the animals: the spray falling onto the litter if the droplets are too large, evaporation when the droplets are too fine. Standard spraying gear, such as this one, produces uniformly sized droplets, whose size may be varied during spraying to suit the pressure generated by the equipment. Constant pressure sprayers, such as this, are now available, which produce droplets of a more uniform size. Moreover, the calibrated nozzles can be used to produce droplets of differing sizes, either as shown here, with 3 nozzle sizes producing fine, medium or large droplets, or like this one, with a single nozzle size and with the distribution pressure adjusted using this pressure gauge. In addition to correctly adjusting the equipment to produce the right droplet size, there are various other ways of ensuring that as little as possible of the viral vaccine is wasted during spraying. The animals should be grouped close together to limit the amount of spray which falls on the ground. Vaccinating day-old chicks in the hatchery or in boxes is the best way of limiting this type of wastage. When spraying chicks, spray gently and in semi-darkness. On the contrary, when spraying in the house, increase the light intensity to excite the birds and to make sure that they look at the sprayer and thus directly at the jet. Turn off all heaters to cut down on losses due to evaporation, and in hot countries, vaccinate during the cooler times of the day, directing the jet 30 centimetres over the heads of the birds. To limit losses due to movements of air, switch off all ventilation systems, either as shown here, in statically ventilated houses, or by shutting down the motors in dynamically ventilated houses. In both cases, work swiftly, particularly in hot countries, and don't forget to restart the ventilation systems half an hour after finishing spraying. Moreover, in hot countries, where the bird's respiratory rate is higher, make sure that you do not vaccinate with very fine droplets, since there is a danger of this causing post-vaccinal reactions. Equipment fitted with a long delivery pipe, such as this one, will avoid frightening the birds, and indeed will encourage them to look in the direction of the jet. In order to make sure that all the animals are sprayed, return several times to each group of animals. Once spraying is finished, the equipment should be rinsed with mineral water. Electrical equipment, such as the one shown here, produces much finer droplets, 40 to 50 microns across. This is not spraying, but atomization, and can only be used for booster vaccination when post-vaccinal reactions must be avoided. The risk of reaction is greater in hot countries due to the bird's higher respiratory rate. This video has not covered all the possible situations that may arise.